Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Keisha. So on this channel is all about fashion, beauty, lifestyle, nursing, and anything that I choose to put out there. So guys, as I said, I'm on a roll. I'm gonna tell you some of my past experiences while living here in the UK, and I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna continue to share it with you, be transparent with you, tell you the raw truth. So guess what, if there's anything that you would like to know before you get here, or even now that you're here or you just arrived, feel free to leave me a message. Let's get interactive in the comment section. And guess what, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that whenever I upload a video, you will be first to be notified. So guys, I'm like so happy to come again here and spill some more beans, spill some more truth. This is my truth. Disclaimer, this is my truth. This is my personal experience, and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to tell you like it is. So in today's video, what I'm going to talk about is basically 10 shocking truths that for me, I did not know until I got here and I had to experience it and learn for myself. And even more so, experiences from maybe one of my friends or a few of my friends. So I'm going to share it with you and give you an idea, an understanding. So if you're deciding to come to England, at least you will know beforehand. So like I said, if you want to know more about this video, if you want to stick around with your girl, feel free to smash the subscription button so whenever I upload a video, you will be notified. And like I said, I have a little cold, so excuse my little snuffiness. But like I said, I have to get my book because I want to keep organized, I want to keep collective, and I don't want to stray away from the point. So like I said, in this video, I am going to talk about 10 shocking things that no one tells you until you get here and you learn and experience it for yourself. But through my experience, I am gonna share it quickly with you. And in number 1, no one tells you the amount of money you have to pay for childcare. So guys, if you have kids, especially if they're within that childbearing age where they probably need to go to a nursery or a daycare, listen, if you have to pay £8, £10 an hour, and especially if you're making, depending on the job that you have, if you're making, let's say, £10-12 an hour, if you're a nurse, you probably might be making about £16-20 an hour. Think about the bills and all of the other things that has to go with that. So no one tells you how expensive childcare is. However, if you don't have any kid or any kids, congratulations. But if you have kids, just be aware that you have to spend some money if you decide to take your child to childcare or daycare. And especially if, let's say, you don't have a husband, you don't have a spouse, even more so family that can probably help to fill that gap. So childcare is very expensive, so remember, take note of that. Number 2, also, if you're deciding to rent an accommodation, let's say you have kids of different gender, boy and girl, it is important that you have a separate room. So let's say if you have 2 boys, let's say you have 3 kids, you have 2 boys or 1 girl. So you put 2 boys in one room, 1 girl in the other room. By law, the children are supposed to, once they're of opposite sex, they're not supposed to sleep together. However, they're supposed to have their own rooms. All right, so depending on how many kids you have, let's say you have to get maybe a 3-bedroom house. If you have all the kids of the same gender, it makes it even better for you. So you can probably, if you have 2 kids or 3 kids, you can actually, depending on how big that room is, you can do a bunk bed or 2 bunk beds. If you have 4 kids, depends on what, to cut costs. All right, so no one tells you this. However, I know some people probably still, you know, do it underneath, but that's one thing to remember. Yeah, so guys, if you're liking this video so far, don't forget to press that subscription button so whenever I upload a video, you will be first to be notified. And in number 3, another thing, you have to pay a TV license. In this day and age, in England, you're still paying a TV license. Why are we paying a TV license? So every month you pay a TV. You can actually pay it if you want to pay it monthly, you want to pay it quarterly, or you want to pay it yearly. Is all up to you. And guess what, guys? They will know because they actively come around and check. And let's say if you haven't paid your TV license, you can be fined £1,000 because you're breaching. All right, so pay your TV license, guys. Don't get caught off guard. Everything in this country is all about tax, tax, tax. Taxes are very, very high. So bear in mind that when you get here, whatever you collect for your salary, you have a big chunk of it to go towards your tax. And listen, the taxes are so high. It is unbelievable. Like how many taxes, especially as foreign nurses, how many taxes, or foreign workers, how many taxes that you are paying. Okay, that's number 4. Taxes, taxes, taxes. It kills you. In number 5, another shocking truth that no one tells you is that renting an accommodation, you need most times a guarantor. A guarantor, someone to stand on your behalf. So think about it. You come into this country, you don't know anyone. If you know someone, even more so, sometimes they're reluctant. They do not even want to stand as a guarantor for you. However, if there's someone who want to stand guarantor, kudos. But you need to get a guarantor to stand on your behalf. So let's say you can't pay your rent or you can't pay. They are the ones who would have to stand responsibility. It's more or less somebody who is responsible just in case you can't pay your rent, that they would have to stand on your behalf. Okay, but however, not all accommodation may need a guarantor, but the fact that you're just coming to this country, apart from having your accommodation that they would have provided before, you know, as a part of the moving process, when you have to get your own home or your own rented accommodation, most letting agents ask you for a guarantor. If I'm calling it correctly, a guarantor. All right, just basically someone to stand just in case you can't pay. Another thing to note, like I said earlier, taxes, taxes, taxes. You have a council tax, and guess what? Depending on the borough you're living in, it is so expensive. All right, I usually ask myself, think about it. If you're living in a house with maybe 4 flats, 6 flats, 10 flats, everybody pays council tax. Council tax is another added bill towards your monthly expenses. And it's crazy, like a council tax, like sometimes all they do, apart from just, I think that the tax basically helps to probably upkeep that borough or whatever, remove your garbage and so on. But why is it that it have to be so expensive? Okay, so that's another thing you have to keep in mind, the council tax. So another shocking truth, you need to pay a deposit. Just to be aware that you have your deposit you pay when you're going to rent a house. Also, there's something which is called a zero deposit. So how it works, if you pay a deposit before you move in, at the end of when you're ready to leave that accommodation, once everything is all fine and dandy, yes, when living somewhere, yes, you will, that place that you're living in will go through a bit of wear and tear. We understand this. But listen, it's important that you keep that accommodation as best as possible, like how you received it. Because when they come and they do their inspection thereafter, they have a tendency to confiscate your deposit, or they would use your deposit to fix whatever their situation or whatever problems they find, and then they will refund you. the balance. All right. Also, with the zero deposit, keep this in mind, where every month they will be taking out a portion of that money every single month, and at the end of it you get back nothing. So most times, or all of the time, you're actually losing when you pay a zero deposit. So it is better if you pay the lump sum full deposit upfront. That way when you're leaving, you have your monies to get back in your hand. So that's something to take note of. Remember, another shocking truth that no one tells you. Okay, like I said, I am going to spill the bean, because the thing about it, you have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, no one will tell you, and most of the times you learn by trial and error. And sometimes you don't want that, because when you do learn by trial and error, sometimes the situation has gone far, if you see what I mean. Another shocking truth to remember: when you're renting an accommodation, sometimes when you think that, let's say you see an accommodation that you like and you wonder to yourself why you didn't get this accommodation, most of the places, what they're doing is that they take into consideration your monthly salary, and most of them want your salary to be 2.5 times your accommodation. Most of the letting agents, most of that's one. If you read the clause, another thing you need to do, guys, another thing you need to do when you get here in the UK, when you're going to rent an accommodation, before you literally sign that agreement, sometimes we need to take some time and we need to read through, and you will see some of the things. You'll be so amazed at some of the things that they have in that rental sorry guys, in that rental accommodation. So be mindful of that. All right, so another thing to note is that your renewal of visa, the cost is very expensive. So think about it. You have to make sure and plan accordingly. Yeah, you have to make sure and plan accordingly, because think about, if you have kids, you have a spouse, you have, so you know, it's like lots of money. It's over 3,000 pounds just for one person. Okay, and then if you want to do rush, you have the rush fees at different time. So if you want to get it back within a week, you have a certain amount of money to pay. If you want to get it back in a month, there's a certain amount of money you have to pay. So please bear in mind that at the end of your time, when you're eligible to do your indefinite, your visa fees are very, very expensive. And think about it. Sometimes some people has to prolong that process just because they don't have all the finances. And obviously some people are fortunate because it's either them alone, and even more so if it's them alone, sometimes it's very expensive, because you, with all the added bills and so on, it makes it more challenging. All right, so yeah, that's just another thing to note. Another shocking truth that I want to let you know is that when you arrive, most of the time, if you are on a tier 2 visa, because every visa have their clause, every visa have their what is expected, the expectations of that person who has come to a country to work. So if you're on a tier 2 visa, yeah, like let's say you're a healthcare worker and on a tier 2 visa, please bear in mind that the Home Office, they literally look into your overtime. Okay, if you're doing more than 20 hours weekly, I beg you, stop it. Because when it's time to get your indefinite leave to remain, this is one of the things can stop you from getting your indefinite leave, if that makes sense. All right, so please be mindful to work within your overtime 20 hours a week and you should be fine. Last but not least, listen, in this country, I probably might have touched it in the previous video that I did, But I still have to let you know that this country, when you get here, if you don't have your families, you gotta be lonely, lonely, lonely. But guess what? Like I did, I started my YouTube channel. Find something to do that you can do in your spare time so that you can pass, you put that energy. Because, I mean, you can't be working. You need some extracurricular, something to do. Find whatever hobby that you like and put that energy right there. So guys, I think I probably would have given you more than 10, but yes. So those are some of the shocking truths that you need to know before or when you get here, that absolutely no one tells you, unless maybe you experience it. And if you're listening to my video, then you will get a better understanding of some of these things that literally goes on while you are here that no one tells you. So guys, if you like my video, guess what? Give me a big thumbs up, like my video, share my video. Let's get interactive. So whenever I upload a video, remember to subscribe, so whenever I upload a video, you'll be first to be notified. So thanks for watching, and see you again. See you very soon in my next video. Bye.